Hello, and thank you for joining today's webinar, What's New in Magic Optimizer version 8. My name is Tilen Cordis from Motion Solutions, and I'm going to show you, next hour I'm going to show you the new features in Magic Optimizer and some of the improved features from version 7. This is going to be a little shorter than 1 hour webinar, so if you have any questions or if you want to raise hands to say something about the features or ask, either you can wait till the end or just in the middle. I must say that in this morning's webinar, which was for Europe attendees, we had some technical problems. Now it seems everything is okay, so hopefully we will have no technical issues either with the video or sound. If we do, please do let me know that either you can't hear me or there's something wrong with the sound. Okay, so let's begin. Magic Optimizer version 8 has been designed slightly different than our previous versions, and so that direction where much more is focused on analytical features, so that it encompasses 360-degree of project analysis. So version 8 and all next versions are going to have much more focus on analytical features than the actual optimization. So it's not going to be just optimization software, but more focus on analytical. So you can view your projects in so many different ways that you can really understand and really focus on what needs to be done, how you need to prepare, make sure that the project is ready for the customers. So some improved features are, of course, migration to Magic XPA reports. Now you can, when you migrate from eDeveloper version 9, the migration report shows you all the issues, all the aspects of your application project that you need to address before migrating to Magic XPA. They comply fully with complete MSC's documents on migration. So I'm sure the ones who know Magic Optimizer, you know that it only reports on migration. It does not change any code. It does not help you with migration in terms of changing the project and making sure it migrates to Magic XPA. It just provides full detailed reports so you can check every single issue that you want to address, and you can think about how you're going to address it and make sure that it's going to work in Magic XPA. Multiple project has been enhanced, has been updated a little bit, the speed has been improved, and now you can import even more projects than before. Memory has been a little optimized. So when you import multiple projects for purpose of cross-referencing components throughout all the projects that you have, it works a little better. And unused objects also, it was improved in terms of now you can, now that you can cross-reference component through multiple projects, you can also see which unused objects within that component are actually used in other projects. So before, when you did unused objects on components, you couldn't be really sure whether it is the component, the programs or tables from a component were used in other projects. Now, as soon as you import all projects, Magic Optimizer is going to check for unused objects across all multiple projects. So this is much, much better improved. And UML workflow charts have been improved a little bit, better user interface has been changed a little bit, upgraded. This has been done more on the back end, so the core, to give you more enhancements than just the user interface. Okay, so but the new features, why the version 8 has gone into more analytical way, is showing you Direct SQL Repository and Activity Profiler. Direct SQL Repository is very simple, as it says the name. It lists all Direct SQL statements you use in project, gives you all the information, and parses the SQL statements as much as it can and tries to show you all the tables and table fields that you use. Activity Profiler, you will see, it's a very nice tool that feature that analyzes activity monitor logs and shows you a lot more than what you can see within Magic. So let's start with Direct SQL Repository. We can go. Now, as I see you're all Magic developers, of course, so you know exactly what I'm showing here. Direct SQL statement, very, very powerful feature in Magic, but quite limited in terms of when you want to analyze, when you want to see what the actual statements, how it relates to the project. There is no option to see which tables are used except when you read or when you identify them on your own. And when you close a program, it's very, very hard to know which programs use, which tasks use SQL statements and which don't. So it's kind of Magic Optimizer comes in handy here because it gives you the full list of the SQL statements and helps you when you want to analyze a little quicker than it is in Magic. So let's start Magic Optimizer and see how that works. So version 8, the user interface on its own hasn't been upgraded much, so it's the same standard screen. It starts up with you want to point to a project, you want to load, you want to analyze. So this is we have a demo project here. I'm going to load it to Magic Optimizer, and the new feature is under Analyze Direct SQL Repository menu. Click on a button and it produces the report of all SQL statements you have in your project. This is the center screen. It lists all of this. So even if you have lots and lots of SQL statements, they're going to be all listed here. Now, when you select any of the SQL statements, it's going to show you all the information as you have in Magic. So we have input arguments, output arguments, the actual statement, database that it uses, whether it has a return code or not. There's a nice little feature, make it pretty, that as you can see, this is not a Magic, how it looks in Magic. In Magic, this is how it looks in Magic. Okay, let's have a look at one that has a, so this is what it does. Make it pretty, it parses your statement and tries to make it as pretty as possible so that it's a little more understandable, a little more clear what it is. You can copy and paste into back in Magic or any other tool that you want to use, maybe just for documentation, Word or email. So this is this has been requested for many years, and I'm really happy that I can introduce it in the latest version so that we can move on, because the current functionality that is here is just the first step towards having really good SQL statement analytical tool here in Magic Optimizer. So the next cool thing is on the right side we have a list of all tables that Magic Optimizer recognized from all the SQL statements. And as soon as it recognizes the name of the table that appears in Magic 2, it's going to show the number of the table that you have defined in project. Now in our case we have a demo project, so it's a little more demo tables, but when you have a list of all the tables and you see one is missing, it's good that you know that, okay, this is really the table that I'm using in SQL, in Oracle, but it's not defined in Magic. Whether it's good or whether it's correct or not, this here is your chance to fix it. And when you select each SQL statement, in this part it shows you just for these SQL statements what it gets out. So what it can parse, so the table and the fields. Let's have a look at a little more. It can parse not just select statements, but every other SQL statements that you can have. Now, of course there's a limitation with what it can recognize. One of the limitations is because we all know this can be written like this, right? So these are dynamically created or not static scripts, either via input parameters, maybe from somewhere else. And this is, of course, something that Magic Optimizer cannot recognize yet. This is going to be one of the next versions is going to recognize and try to parse all input parameters in where it needs. So if there's a way that it can recognize tables or table fields, it's going to try and combine all your input into something that he can recognize and show you, okay, this is the tables that you're actually using. If the table names or field names are constructed dynamically, when the project is running runtime, of course, Magic Optimizer can't catch that and can't recognize. But, so that's a drawback, but still, whatever you input in the project, Magic Optimizer can recognize eventually. Because this is the first version of how Magic Optimizer tries to parse all SQL statements, of course, there are some limitations, and one of them is that Magic Optimizer can't recognize something that is not, that's a little complicated, or it can seem simple, but it's not really. So for example, this is the statement that he can't recognize yet because it's not pulling from the input arguments. Now for this case, because I put together a little informative screen where you can see all the SQL statements that Magic Optimizer couldn't recognize. So this is to help you guys to send me all the scripts that you think Magic Optimizer should recognize as okay, or should recognize the tables, or just some complex SQL statements that you can send me, and I can then upgrade the parser to make sure that it can recognize these statements. So it's a very simple, this is the button. I hope this is the percentage it's gonna be in your projects too, maybe a few percentage of SQL statements that it can't recognize. It's a nice little list, copy to clipboard and just send it to info@magicoptimizer.com, and I'm gonna make sure that try to next version, next upgrade of Magic Optimizer is going to be able to recognize those scripts and try to give you valuable information that you need. The next version is also going to have a lot more information pertaining to what the script does, how it's used, maybe some relation to how tasks call each other and how all the SQL statements are related, but that's for next version. So this is just step one. This is the first version, and any recommendation, any suggestions that you want to give to improve Magic Optimizer based on your usage of SQL statements, please do send everything to my email, and we can discuss and see what we can do. Now, this is a small list. If you have a long list of SQL statements, you have a range where you can just arrange SQL statements in not online tasks, and it's going to show you very simple, or you can just want to select which SQL database the SQL statements use, so you can range and see what's going on and can analyze. Or you just want to see all the scripts that use return code in case you want to do something with those. Or you can just range by table, and it's going to range all SQL statements by which table is used. So very, very nice little utility that it extends what Magic does. It gives you a little more power in terms of what is going on with your project when you analyze it, and it gives you a little more flexibility what you want to do, and speed, of course, because as soon as you're in Magic Optimizer, you can use typical shortcuts. You can cross-reference table right away. It's going to cross-reference it. If you do a cross-reference you can do a view code of a program task, and you can just analyze. Okay, this one is empty because it's demo program. So quick browsing back and forth, so you can really use Magic Optimizer to be more extensive in your analytical approach to your project. Okay, I just want to check any messages. No, any questions? No. Okay, so this means everything's okay. I'm really happy because we had so many technical issues this morning that this is good. Okay, so this was Direct SQL Repository. Again, this is version 1. As you know, with each upgrade, software gets improved. So if you have any suggestions on how to improve the whole SQL statements repository, do send me an email, do propose suggestions, because the more suggestions I have, the better I can improve Magic Optimizer to serve all developers and to make sure it's really usable tool. And of course, any odd SQL statements that you think they would need to be, that Magic Optimizer currently does not recognize, please send them to me. I will make sure I upgrade the parser for the next upgrade. Okay. So this was the first the first new feature, the latest version. The second new feature is Activity Profiler. So let's go back to Magic and see what it does. Now I'm sure you all know Activity Monitor. This is the feature that was introduced in UniPass. A very useful feature. It logs all execution process of your project. So whether you're executing a batch process online, everything is logged here, and it's very useful because it has details of every single step is logged. I'm sure you know it. I don't know who used it or not, but let's start. Let's do an example. So this is a demo batch process. It's going to take a few more seconds, and so that we have something to work with. Now, I'm not sure how process done, how Activity Monitor you guys use, but for my case, you can see it's very, very good. It logs every single action, how the transaction information about the operations, when programs are called, tasks, when data tables are accessed, what open and share are they access to it, so either read or write. So basically very, very good information, very detailed. So you know, actually, you know everything that's going on in with your project. And this is very useful. Now, the problem is this is only useful when you go like we go right now, step by step. You see where you are, you understand what's going on, you see where in which task you are, which tables are working on. But if you go beyond this and you want to try to understand what all this log means, it's impossible. It's just too much. Now we have log 28 to 44. That's 16 seconds of batch process. This is a long batch process. So in our case, because Activity Monitor is open, it's a little longer, but it still gives you a sense of how long the process lasts, which tasks are executed, tables are accessed, and so on. So, but there's a thing, you cannot see really anything beyond each step by step. So this is where Magic Optimizer comes in handy. What you need to do, you need to save Activity Monitor log. It saves in XML file, and you can use it in Magic Optimizer. So you need to go to Analyze, Activity Profiler menu, and you point to the file, the log file, and you load it into Magic Optimizer. So, and this is what Magic Optimizer does. It analyzes the log, compares it with the project that's loaded, and gives you lots of information. On top, first we have the total runtime, so you kind of have overview information, how many tasks were executed, and how many tables were accessed. Now, just this little information and the list of most accessed table and how many times, just this little information is very, very good to know when you want to optimize your batch process, when you want to either limit the database access or you just want to make sure you control it in a way that is most optimized. Now this is the information that from this log, this kind of log, it's very hard to do on your own unless you write your own parsers. So, but this is where Magic Optimize comes in handy. It shows you exactly how many tables were accessed, and it gives you, it shows the top 5 most accessed table. In our example, we have the table items was accessed 37 times. So we can see very quickly which are the most which are the areas in database that you want to try to address. Now this does not say these are the ones you really need to address, but it gives you an overview of like top 5 most accessed table. The second one here we have most executed tasks, and we can see how in our case how the program number 159 is how many times it's executed. Much more it's the most executed task in our demo project, and it goes down to top 5. And we have top tasks by runtime, so you see which programs tasks were running the most. So it gives you just the overview. It gives you something that you cannot see from here at all. Either you have your own parser or you just can't see that information. But when you want to try to optimize the process, you want to make sure that it's sped up, make sure that it doesn't do anything that it's not supposed to do. This is where you want to be. You want to see all this information so that it can direct you where you want to start analyzing the process. Now this is just an overview. Then we have the center of the whole feature, and this is the list of the tasks executed and by the percentage of the time total runtime they use each task, how many times they were called. We have on time and time. On time is how long they ran, their total runtime, and the total time is the one from their one total time plus all the calls to other tasks. Okay, so and we have also how many tables they accessed. So this is very good information. Now we have an option here to hide online tasks. Why? Because we know online tasks are user dialogues. Maybe we don't need the timeline of those. We just need the whole batch process to see which ones are the most used, which ones we want to address. So, and it's a simple grid we can sort, so we can quickly see the top 5, top 10 tasks. And if we want to optimize the process, this is very easy to identify which tasks we want to address. We can sort by number of calls, number on time, number of tables they use, so we don't need to spend time with the programs with the tasks that are not really need to be addressed. The left side, here is the left side that shows us execution, list of executed tasks. Now this is all the programs and subtasks that were executed, and all the green ones are the ones that were actually executed. The red ones are the ones that were not, because out of here it's really hard to identify which tasks that were supposed to be executed but were not for whatever reason. Either the workflow is not designed like that, so it's correct. But in case if we know that for the batch process that we just ran, for example, this red task was needed to be executed, Magic Optimizer is going to show us, you know what, this hasn't been executed. Make sure that it's either okay or go and check why wasn't it executed. And Magic Optimizer helps you with identifying these tasks, and you can go right away to the task. Okay. What's going on? Okay, sorry. And you can see the task that it's supposed to call it, and you can see, okay, call subtask, record valid. We have there's a condition. Okay, status is okay. Of course, it wasn't called because we have an update to this status is not okay. So this is just a little help from Magic Optimizer to give you tools that you can analyze the whole process, which you can't see from here. It's just impossible to recognize anything from here in terms of which tasks were not executed and try to analyze why not. Now, on the right side, we have a list of all tables that were accessed during the time of execution of the process. And the tables are sorted by how they were accessed. We see how many times they were accessed. We don't see all the details yet in terms of read or write. That's going to be in the next update of Magic Optimizer, but it gives you all the information about all the tables that were used. Now, if you know that you're running a process, that the batch process that is supposed to use another table that's not here on the list, this is a very good to know, because obviously something's not working good. And hopefully in next versions this is going to be clear here too. So it's not just on this side where it says which tasks were not executed, but also which tables were skipped because of either non-executed tasks or some other occurrence. One of the nice things here feature in this screen is when you click on a task, when you select a task, it's going to, on the left side, it's going to show exactly where this program is, just to make sure that in case if it's a subtask, like in this case, you know exactly the path to the task. But in our case, let's say this one, on the left, you see it marked all the tables that this task uses. So if you want to analyze, you see this one only uses one table, this one only uses 5 tables. So you want to decide which tasks you want to address to see how you can optimize the process, or you just want to recognize what's going on and see what if you need to make sure that more tables are open, or that just too many tables are accessed in one single task. So on top, a little overview, again, with all the top most executed access table or tasks by runtime, and the central information with all the information what you need to kind of try to understand and determine what you need to do, what you need to address for to speed up, to optimize, to improve the performance of the batch process or the whole project. So again, from this to this, there's no Magic. This is very good utility, activity monitor, but it just lacks this kind of view. So this is just the first version in the current Magic Optimizer. So all next versions, I have a long to-do list to make sure how to improve this. So if you have, again, if you have any suggestions, the same as with Direct SQL Repository, any suggestions how to improve this, how to make sure that it's usable for you, please send any requests, suggestions to info@magicoptimizer.com. Get in touch with me and let's have a dialogue how we can improve this more. Now, one of the things is, because anybody who uses that, he knows this slows down a little bit the batch process. But Magic also logs all this information in the file, in the text file, which is here. Now this text file is just pure text file. It is the same as activity monitor, all the information, and Magic Optimizer can actually import both, either XML file saved directly from activity monitor or the log file. You can use this one and let's have a look. We have text file, log text. This was the one that was just created. And if we load it, it's exactly the same information. So you can use one or the other, and based on the log levels, based on these settings, you can see the information in Magic Optimizer. Now currently Magic Optimizer does not deal with how this database how the database log level is defined, either it logs anything or not. But in next versions you're going to see a lot more information about what is actually going on, what goes through the database and back through the gateway. So wait for in next couple of versions. This is going to be much more improved, and I'm happy that finally this is here, that it's a ground for new features. So these two new features are part of Magic Optimizer, the future, how it's going to develop into analytical tool more than just be like optimization tool with trying to get rid of unused objects and the warnings, which is the most usable feature now. But it's going to more analytical, and all these features are going to be interconnected. So here you can do a cross-reference to right away to show a cross-reference of the tables. The same goes with, you can do cross-reference of the programs. Go back, you can do the view code. So here it is. So you can use Magic Optimizer as really analytical tool, have it open all the time, and just make sure that it helps you with what you want to achieve. So this is the main goal with Magic Optimizer version 8 and all next versions. Okay, these were the two new features. Okay, I see no questions. No. Okay, good. So I want to show you, for those of you who haven't used version 7 yet, maybe, and you don't know how to import multiple projects and how to cross-reference components within multiple projects in Magic Optimizer, I'm going to show you now. Now this is, instead, from standpoint of user interface, it hasn't changed from version 7, but the core has been improved a lot, and the performance and accuracy too. There were some issues in version 7. Now version 8 is much better, and it works much nicer. So what you need to do, you need to access Load Multiple Projects menu, and here we have, you can add as many projects as you want, as a list of projects you want to import. You have a little button here that is going to import all the previous imported projects. So in our case, this is for the demo purpose. I have a component user functionality, which probably you all know. It's a sample that comes with Magic XPA and 3 sample projects. Let's import all of them. So Magic Optimizer recognizes the list of all the projects and imports them one by one into memory. And this is the screen where you can define which project is a main project. The main project means the project that you want to cross-reference in other projects. So if you want to cross-reference component in another project, you make sure that the component is set as main project. That means this is the main feature where all the functionalities are going to based on, and if you want to do cross-reference or unused objects, this is how you set it up. You need to set which one is the main project. So you go to cross-reference. Let's go to tables, and this is the result. So the cross-reference of the table criteria, you can see this is the first, the list of cross-references hits in the component itself, and then it goes out to project. We have a project in online samples project, in another in the third project, and we have a list of all the cross-reference hits in the multiple projects. So this has been upgraded a lot, and it just works much better. Now I just want to show you. No, it's not going to work. I want to show you this one, but I will wait a little bit. Okay. So this has been upgraded a lot. Now, if you have, let's say you have 2 or 3 components and multiple projects, what you need now, you want to cross-reference another component within other multiple projects. What you need to do is swap main project. So you select another component, set it as main project, and go back to cross-reference and see where it is used. And now when you go to unused objects, you have check within multiple projects checkbox. This is the one that is going to go not just check for all the objects within, whether they're used in the current project, but they're going to go through the whole list of other imported projects, and it's going to check whether they're used. Previous versions of Magic Optimizer didn't do that. They were just looking for local occurrences where the objects were used. They did not check other projects. Now with version 7 and version 8, you can check for all unused objects, whether they're in local or they're really unused. So when you import all the projects and you still see that a couple of models or some objects are not used, it's highly likely that this is really not used unless you missed a project where the component is used and you didn't load it into Magic Optimizer. This is the checkbox. It is the same as here on cross-reference, where you can cross-reference a table within Direct SQL Statements. It comes together with SQL Repository. Hold on, so this is the checkbox that is going to make sure that anything Magic Optimizer, the parser, that's going to recognize in SQL Statements, it's going to appear here in cross-reference too. So if this checkbox is checked, it's going to show in which SQL statements this table is used. Okay, so this was the cross-reference, and one of the upgraded feature was, of course, UML workflow charts. Okay, this is the, hold on, it's clear. Let's upload this one again. Yeah, it has been upgraded a lot, changed a little bit to make sure that it shows the accuracy. So the relationships between the tables and how Magic Optimizer tries to recognize the relationship, it has been improved. So all of you who have used it before and were either frustrated that it wasn't showing all the relationships, now it has been improved a lot. So hopefully you will be all impressed by how it works. Migration to Magic XPA has been improved too. So now this is the list of all the changes that occur in Magic XPA when you migrate from previous projects. Version 7 was only working with when you were migrating from Unipass version 1 or 2 to the latest Magic XPA. Now with version 8, Magic Optimizer helps you when you migrate eDeveloper version 9 to Magic XPA. So it complies with all MSC's migration documents, all the features, all the controls, the user interface changes, all the engine changes, how it works. This is all on this report, and it helps you to migrate. Well, this is it. Did I forget? Okay, this is all I have to have for today's webinar in terms of new features, upgraded features. There are a lot of little upgrades in the core just to set it up so that it becomes more analytical tool. And in the next minor upgrades, some major upgrades of Optimizer, you will see more and more analytical features so that you can really use the Optimizer in a way that you just couldn't with Magic so far. So it's going to be like a really must-have tool along with Magic because it's going to really provide some really good features. So okay, if there are any questions you want or remarks, please do. Okay, we have a question here. Does multiple projects for Magic version 9? Unfortunately, still not. This is multiple projects is a very complex feature, and currently it only supports version 10, Unipass, and Magic XPA. Version 9 is not supported yet. It will be in one of the next upgrades, but it's a very complex feature when you import version 9 project. So far it's still on the to-do list, but it's not implemented yet. Okay, another question. Hold on. What's the difference between most executed tasks and top tasks by runtime? Let's go to the screen. Top tasks by runtime. Runtime means how long they run. That means it can be a long batch task that loops through lots of data. It can take a long time to run it. This is the runtime. Most executed tasks means how many times they were called. So let's check with the calls. We have, you see the difference between top and the second from the top. It's a big difference. And it's not the same difference as it is its own time. So we see this one. This is a short, very quick task that's used a lot, but it's very quick. And we have, for example, here we have this one. That's the longest runtime, but with only 30 calls. So the difference is between how many times task was called and how long each call or combined calls of the same task took long. I hope that this answers your question. If not, please do let me know. I'll try to readdress it. Okay, is it possible to export the results of the crossref for logical names? Right, so not working for logical names. Yes, absolutely. If it wasn't working version 7, please do get in touch with me and I will make sure either you were using older version or I will readdress the issue and see where the problem was. Next question. Let's see. I apologize. I apologize for the sound. I think we still did much better than it was the morning's webinar for the Europe, but I apologize again. I hope the sound was not off for too long. Okay. Can you see dynamic condition values that were passed? You show the hard-coded value, but in reality, values are dynamic, and the optimizer showed this. No, of course not, because not as it is designed right now, because dynamic values are set up dynamically. Optimizer can only read static values, of course, but in combination with activity log and the SQL repository information, at some point in the future, this might be possible to analyze together log and the project and combine the results and show you the dynamic, what was actually passed and how it was constructed from static script into what was actually passed through the gateway to the database. So hopefully one time in the future, but for now this is the first step. It gives you the quick overview of the information as much as it can, and hopefully at some point in the future this is going to be. I would ask you to please do get in touch with me. Let's talk about it a little more. Perhaps I'm not aware of how we can improve that faster than what I have in mind. So let's see another question. I think this is all. Okay, so no more questions. Again, thank you very much. I will, yeah, guys, definitely please be in touch with me. Try to send me suggestions, comments about this, how you want this to go forward in terms that it benefits your project the most. I will send each attendees will we'll get an evaluation code for Magic Optimizer version 8. So please do test it out. See how it can, be beneficial to you, or how it can be improved. And I hope I'll see you in next webinar. Okay, thank you very much, and have a good day.